Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and in this video today, we're going to be taking a look at day 3 targets for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, so far up to this point, the Bucs have drafted Duke center Graham Barton, edge defender out of Alabama, Chris Braswell. You have defensive back out of Georgia, Tyke Smith, and wide receiver out of Washington, Jalen McMillan. The Bucs have done a great job so far up to this point addressing a lot of their major needs, but there still are some needs on this team that they should look at. Let's start off with the inside linebacker position. There's still a lot of talented guys on this list. Jeremiah Trotter Jr., linebacker out of Clemson. Cedric Gray, linebacker out of North Carolina. Nathaniel Watson, linebacker out of Mississippi State. And Jamal Hill, linebacker out of Oregon, are all guys that the Bucs have expressed some level of interest with, be it with a top 30 visit, a combine interview, something along those lines. Yes, KJ Britt is there. Yes, Servassier Dennis is there. And I think that either one of those guys is going to end up starting next to Levante David going forward, but you could always use more depth at that position. You did lose Devin White to the Philadelphia Eagles in free agency, so you could use another guy there. I think the Bucs will take an inside linebacker. They don't have a 5th rounder, which is unfortunate. They may try to trade back up into the 5th round at some point. If one of these guys does end up falling, we're just going to have to wait and see. The next position I want to take a look at is going to be the running back position. That's going to be an interesting position to see what is going on with. You have Jalen Wright, running back out of Tennessee. Ray Davis, running back out of Kentucky. Would not surprise me at all if this is a guy who goes in the 4th round to the Bucs. In fact, keep a very close eye on that. You have Isaiah Davis, running back out of South Dakota State. Those are some of the top guys. You have Keelan Robinson out of Texas as well. Kendall Milton out of Georgia is another interesting name to keep an eye on. But ultimately, really, the only running back the Bucs have spent a lot of time with that is left is Ray Davis for one, and a little bit of time with Jalen Wright out of Tennessee in there as well. I think if the Bucs are going to take a significant running back, it is going to be in that 4th round. If that does not happen, maybe they go inside linebacker in the 4th round if Ray Davis is not there at that point. Maybe you see the Buccaneers wait until that 6th or 7th round to take somebody maybe further down on this list, a power back, so to speak, maybe a Kendall Milton, maybe. We'll have to wait and see. But I do believe the Bucs will take a running back at some point, but where could depend on how the board falls, of course, as it will with all of these picks. Next thing I want to take a look at is defensive end and defensive tackle, the interior defensive line. How is this going to shape up? Well, in terms of defensive linemen, you have Eric Watts out of Connecticut, you have Miles Cole out of Texas Tech, and Anthony Goodlow out of Oklahoma State, who are the defensive ends left, so to speak, in this draft class. Taking a look at defensive tackle, which would make more sense for the Bucs in a 3-4 defense, you have Fabian Lovett Sr. out of Florida State. Him and Fisk did a really good job together at Florida State. You've got Mekhi Wingo out of LSU. You have got Tyler Davis out of Clemson. Jordan Jefferson out of LSU is in that mix as well. Really, we haven't seen the Bucs spend a ton of time with a lot of these guys that are coming up in this situation right now, so it will be interesting to see if the Bucs do decide to take any of these guys, but keep an eye on it. Juwan Briggs was somebody I had in my recent mock draft in the later rounds out of Cincinnati. Could be an option. We're just going to have to wait and see, but those are some of the names that are out there right now. Of course, cornerback, the Buccaneers did address this with the Tyke Smith pick, but if they do want to add a little bit more depth, there's some good options out there. DJ James, TJ Tampa is out there as well. You have Kalen Carson out of Wake Forest. You have some other interesting names like Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is there as well. Josh Newton out of TCU. There's still some pretty good cornerback depth available. If the Buccaneers do want to grab another corner, maybe somebody to develop on the outside behind a guy like Zion McCollum, they will have a few options out there. Finally, I want to take a look at 2 more positions. One is interior offensive line. I don't necessarily see the Bucs going any further route with this. I think that they are very satisfied with Graham Barton and then some of the other guys competing at left guard, which again, I will talk about in a separate video, but here are some of the guys that are still available on that list. And I want to take a look at quarterback, folks, because hey, Some of the guys that are still on this board: Spencer Rattler out of South Carolina, Jordan Travis out of Florida State. Hey, why not? Devin Leary out of Kentucky, Michael Pratt out of Tulane. There's still a couple of guys that are, let's say, developmental type of quarterbacks. And I know the Bucs just signed Baker Mayfield to a long-term deal. I know Kyle Trask is on the last year of his deal. I know they brought John Wolford back, but one of these guys could be a practice squad type of quarterback. Maybe even the case of a guy like Devin Leary, who I've mocked to the Bucs a couple of times now. And it may be something worth paying attention to. Also, Taulia T out of Maryland, my goodness, Tua's brother would be a fun name. Shout out Tarpons, let's go. But there are some interesting names. Jack Plummer, son of Jake Plummer, I believe, quarterback, former great quarterback in the NFL. Well, former quarterback in the NFL. There's some fun names here, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucs did add one of these guys as an undrafted free agent. Just wanted to have some names that you guys are familiar with. Davius Richard, also out of North Carolina Central. Again, just some interesting names here. Shout out Ben Bryant out of Northwestern. Shout out to you, Trev. But folks, that's pretty much it for all the names that we should be paying attention to going forward throughout the remainder of day 3 of the NFL Draft. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this down in the comments section below. I'd love to hear it. One more time, I want to take a look just real quick at wide receiver. Troy Franklin's there out of Oregon, Malik Washington. Javon Baker's just an absolute beast, by the way. Brendan Rice, nephew of Jerry Rice? I think it's the son of Jerry Rice out of USC. That'd be kind of fun, right? So there's some fun options. Johnny Wilson out of Florida State. Cornelius Johnson out of Michigan. Good stuff, man. I know I've looked at like every position at this point, but that's kind of how day 3 usually goes, right? You can pick pretty much anybody, and it's not that surprising. Although, round 4 may be pretty interesting. I really do think pay attention to Ray Davis or pay attention to a Jeremiah Trotter Jr. or any one of these inside linebackers at the top. Could be very, very juicy pick. But let me know your guys' thoughts and opinions about this down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And as always, guys, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now, and go Bucs.